EV remains at where it was. Yes, it remains at where it was, 5.
214.
सवाल चूंकि अभी काफ़ी खबर चल रही थी कि जो 2500 जो अभी ब्रांडेड 1000 रुपये से ऊपर का जो शर्ट एंड फुटवेयर्स है, मैं राजीव हूँ सर दैनिक जागरण से, तो उस पर उसको 2500 उसकी सीमा की जा रही थी। जो 2500 से ऊपर है उनको उन पे ज़्यादा टैक्स लगेगा, तो ऐसा कुछ हुआ या अब सब पे जो भी फुटवेयर और गारमेंट्स होंगे 1000 रुपये से ऊपर के भी उन पे भी सिर्फ 5% ही लगेगा? इस पे कुछ फैसला हुआ? नंबर 1। नंबर 2 सर कि स्मॉल कार, मिड साइज कार, तो क्या इसमें 1200 सीसी से ऊपर वाले सभी कार पे 40% लगेगा?
जहाँ तक फुटवेयर का सवाल है, आज के दिन 2 रेट्स थे। 1000 रुपये से कम वालों के ऊपर 12% और 1000 रुपये से ऊपर वाले के ऊपर 18% लगता था। सो जो चेंज किए गए हैं, जैसे आपको ज्ञात है कि मैडम ने पहले बताया कि 12% का रेट अभी नहीं है, तो 2 रेट जो अभी हैं वो 5 और 18 के हैं। 5% पे जो 2500 से कम वाली वस्तुएं वाले फुटवेयर हैं और 18% पे जो 2500 से ऊपर वाली वस्तुएं हैं। आपका दूसरा सवाल किस इशू से था?
सीसी।
हाँ, मैडम ने आपको बताया कि छोटी कारें जो हैं वो 18 पे होंगी और बाकी सारी कारें जो हैं वो 40 पे होंगी। डेफिनेशन तो आई थॉट वो तो डिपार्टमेंट MHRT मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट रेगुलेटर का है। पेट्रोल की 1200 सीसी और डीजल की 1500 सीसी होती है और उसके साथ शायद लेंथ का भी एक लिमिटेशन होता है। तो जो उनका रेगुलेशंस के हिसाब से छोटी कारें हैं वो हमारी 18 पे रहेंगी। हम लोग अलग से कोई नया डेफिनेशन उसका नहीं बना रहे हैं।
45.
I had a related question on hotels and on air travel. Again, there were 2 classifications there. So if and I suppose, I think all these would be in the detailed press release that you'd be issuing, but if you could just help us.
269.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Girish from Mint. Ma'am, some states had suggested that there could be a new duty imposed on, items on the 28%, which will move to 40%. Has that been considered? And secondly, ma'am, there is no cess applicable on high-end cars, which has moved to 40%, right, ma'am?
Once an item has moved to 40%, there's nothing more to be added.
Okay, ma'am.
Because the maximum rate which you can levy on a car, on any item is 40%. And in the 40% category, we've put all the tobacco and tobacco-related sin goods and super luxury items only.
Number 3.
Hello ma'am, this is Priyoshmita from Informist Media. Ma'am, first I wanted a clarification. Are we still looking at discontinuing compensation cess around November? As in, is that the timeline we are following to repay the loans? And secondly, states had pitched for some kind of a mechanism to compensate them after the rate changes are effective because of the revenue loss. So has there been any discussion, and is the center looking at something on those lines? Thank you.
I think I've mentioned it clearly, till such a time that the loans don't get repaid. We will continue with the 28% items and the compensation cess collection over it, particularly only those items which I read out, tobacco-related products, and they will continue till such a time I repay the loan, which is the council has authorized the finance minister to stop that collection the moment the loan is repaid. I cannot speculate on the time now whether it is October or November, but it will be well within, I think, this calendar year.
Number 2.
I think, first of all, I would like to request the media to look at the GST Council as where the center and the states are seated together. I mentioned this in the council also. The center may be a 1/3 partner, the states put together can be 2/3 partner. But we're all in it together. So anything that which is gained or lost is for everybody. It's not as though states have lost, the center's not gained. If all of us have lost, all of us have lost. And I don't think, and I'm glad that the Revenue Secretary had made this point in the council, it's a revenue instance. The incidence is what is the matter. It's not a static situation. Once the rates have come down per the economic theory that you may want to quote, the buoyancy goes up. People come out to buy more. And therefore, this discussion has happened in today's council. And I have put this argument before, that the center and the states are seated equally. And any gain or any foregone, none of that is perceived, because when rates are coming down, we expect the market to be more buoyant, people to come out and spend more. However, all of us are sitting there together. Compensate for states' loss, even center is losing, if anything. Center loses more in a way. Because 50-50, you divide from my 50, another 41 goes back to the states. So I want the media, particularly those who are covering the economy, finance ministry, to understand in the GST Council, the center and the states are together in it. Nobody is a donor and nobody is a donee within the GST Council.
Number 2.
I'm Pallavi from...
Can I just supplement, because this issue has come from many. So our earlier request was, there are two parts to this issue, and I would just request the indulgence of the media also on this. This repeated use of the word called revenue loss. So obviously somebody has lost to somebody or something to that effect. Kindly understand, this is a tax rationalization exercise which is resulting in reduction of rates of taxes to be paid, let us say, by a common man. Rates paid by on food, on health, on agricultural implements, on labor-oriented sectors like job work. I'm not very sure whether loss is the right interpretation of government saying that we have given money to a consumer. It is an economy that we are talking about. Both of them are there. After all, the money which government will not collect as tax is going to be remaining in the pockets of that consumer who will end up using it. So my request is this terminology loss, because it presents the impression differently from, and which is why I had requested. There is a revenue implication, naturally. So the second part to this understanding is that revenue implication is a dynamic number, because it will depend on how response happens. Mathematically, one can calculate, that can only be done on historical data. But that historical data may not end up to be true, because we do expect behavior of consumer changing, buoyancy factors changing, compliance improving, and this has been the historical reality. You would remember that after compensation cess went away, the buoyancies really went up of GST. So we do expect things to move in the positive direction. We have done our numbers and we believe it is fiscally sustainable. The number that I told you is based on 23-24, and even with projections and expectation on other things turning in the positive side, which we are hearing both from the consumers as well as from the industry, we expect this exercise to be fiscally sustainable.
Okay, I'm Pallavi from CNN News 18. Ma'am, two things over here. There were 8 states which actually said that we want something called the state-level GST on products like alcohol, petrol, and real estate. Was this even discussed at the GST meeting today? And second is that they are all talking